So now you know a few chords. I'm going to start giving you tips, and this whole module is all about tips for helping you change chords faster, which you'll inevitably find the most challenging thing when you're a beginner is how can you get your chords faster and obviously keep the strumming going at the same time. So these next few lessons are all going to be about improving that. Ultimately, it comes down to repetition. You need to be making the chords over and over, but there are a few tips and techniques to speed up the process a little bit. And this is the first one. Quite simply, instead of making chords one finger at a time, I'd like you to be making chords as what I call shapes. So shapes on the fingers, or putting all your fingers down together at the same time. So I'm going to take an example of an A chord. Now, I'm just going to say this beforehand. Obviously, it does come down to how many times you've played A, how quickly you can do this. So normally when you're doing an A, you'd probably be going right there, there, and there. And you'd be going, right, okay, there's my A chord, let's give it a strum. But instead of going there, there, and there with these fingers, or even this finger like this, then I'd like you to be thinking, well, okay, this is actually A. If I put all my fingers together in a line like this, that is my A chord in a diagonal line. So then I can just put that A chord over the strings and then lock the joints up, okay? So instead of going like this, I'd be thinking, right, put them down like that. So if you're changing, let's say from a D chord to an A, notice how these fingers lock in this little block and then they go down. So just thinking about putting chords down with all fingers simultaneously rather than like this. You may find it tempting, and by the way, you can do this, that's absolutely fine in the beginning, in your first couple of weeks, but start thinking more and more about how the chords are going down together. So for example, let's have a look at a D chord. So D, yeah, you'd be index, middle, and ring, and how you do that process will get faster over time. Index, middle, ring, index, middle, ring. But you could be thinking, okay, get index and middle down, because they're on top of each other. So there's your D, and then just turning the wrist slightly to get the ring finger, so there. Or if you take the chord away from the strings, this is another good practice. Make the chord, take it away from the strings and try to set your fingers in the same shape. So there's D, put the D down, lift it up off the strings, not very far. You can see I'm not going that far off the strings, just about a centimetre, then put it down. Let's have a look at E. So here's your E chord, lift up from the strings. Notice this is my E shape. I know that sounds weird, but that is my E shape. That's how it looks like from the front. Just take that shape, place it on. Because what your fingers are going to want to do is they're going to want to spread and play the wrong strings. But think of chords as shapes. A minor. Move this shape down the strings. Okay? E minor, just the middle and ring. So as you learn new chords, instead of going 1, 2, 3 with fingers, 1, 2, 3, start thinking them more as putting them down simultaneously as a shape.